We start with the Democratic primary in Arizona's 1st Congressional District, taking in parts of Phoenix, plus Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, and Fountain Hills. It is a key swing district for Democrats seeking to regain control of the House of Representatives. Democratic leadership in D.C. is putting their thumb on the scale in the CD1 primary, as well as others around the country, and there's been some blowback. Small business owner Rick McCartney is a political newcomer and one of the 4 candidates running in the CD1 Democratic primary. He is not being supported by the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. Welcome to Square Off.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. The greatest set on the planet, I'll say, Graham.
Okay, thank you for that. You are a political newcomer. Just give us a nice, concise reason that you're running.
Yeah, so I was looking for a win. You know, for 15 years and 7 cycles, this seat, a very pinnacle seat, a major seat in this House of Representatives, has been unrepresented for all intents and purposes, and the Democrats haven't won. So I looked at who we might get for this cycle. I looked at 2 candidates that had run before. I got into this race late because I was hoping I could support them. I did a fundraiser for Marlene last cycle.
Marlene Galan-Woods,
yes,
one of the candidates.
Lost the race, and then again supported Shaw.
Dr. Amish Shah also running again.
Also running again. And, you know, watching what they were doing in this cycle, I said, this is the same old hat politics, and we need somebody different, a new face, somebody that's deeply rooted in a district like this.
And the CD1 seat, of course, being vacated by Republican Congressman David Schweikert. So the DCCC, Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, put $200,000 into an ad campaign promoting Marlene Galan-Woods. They already backed her before early voting started. Very unusual. Why is that a problem?
I mean, I don't know that it's a problem. I think it's early. I think what they're doing is second-guessing what the voters of a great district like this want. And so they're meddling. We've seen it happen in California and some other states where they've lost by getting in there and doing these backroom deals, deciding to calculate what this election should look like. You know, they're not putting out polls that are showing anybody ahead. So it tells me that they're struggling and that they really need to get some power behind a candidate that they've put all their faith in. It's not happening.
Is the DCCC brand tarnished, and is that in turn tarnishing the Democratic brand as a whole?
I don't think it is. I mean, there's no question that after the last presidential election, a lot of people have turned off the Democratic Party and said, look, we're not winning elections, we're not getting the job done, we're not solving the problems on the issues for the people, particularly of a district like ours. This is a very opportune district. Heads of hospitals, healthcare companies, as you know, major tech companies. I mean, there's a lot that this district can take to Washington, and we haven't seen that. So the D-Trip comes in here and they try to play these power politics. And for me, it's about the voters. It's about the people. We've been on the ground knocking doors. You know, Amish talks about all the doors he's knocked over 8 years. I mean, we're knocking 30,000 doors just in this cycle alone because we want to meet the people, speak to the people, and talk about that, not empower this backroom politics that, frankly, we've seen in this district lose for 15 years.
And what about what we've seen in, you know, the DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, winning what just happened this past week in Maine with Graham Plattner just blowing up on the launch pad? Is there blowback here for the average candidate like yourself?
I think there's blowback for a candidate who's really been relying on that kind of stuff, but a candidate like me who's been out there to really focus on speaking about the issues. We just completed last night our 31st town hall, where we are fearlessly standing in front of the people of this district, taking every question, listening to the people of this district, and not focusing on these backroom politics. It's why we keep losing, and it's what, frankly, the voters that we're talking to are saying they're fed up with. They want somebody who understands the issues and can find solutions for that and will actually demonstrate what representation means in a district like this and go to Washington and do that job. And that's what we're demonstrating.
4-term Congressman Greg Stanton told Axios the DCCC is hyper-focused on winning general elections. He supports what they're doing. Is he wrong?
He is. He's wrong. I know that the New Dems have just endorsed one of my opponents, and it's the same backroom deal. They're not focused on what the voters are looking for. They're focused on what they're doing in these back rooms with their consultants. And I just have to say, the reality is, it's not been working. So why do we keep doing that? The DCCC never came and sat down with me. They haven't been to a town hall. They haven't seen the work that we've been doing for the people of this district. And to me, that would be the power of the DCCC and what they could be focused on right now.
Let's dig a little deeper into where you stand.
Yeah.
Draw the sharpest contrast you can between Marlene Golan-Woods and Amish Shah.
Yeah, I don't talk about being a fighter. I've been a fighter in this district for 30 years. I mean, my staff and everybody laughs that I say for 30 years I've lived in this district, raised my family in this district, built my business from this district, but I've also been very involved, and if I can say, have truly impacted the people of this district in a really good way through government appointments, through managing and leading nonprofit organizations, doing the work that needs to be done.
And talk about positions. Would you repeal the Trump tax cuts?
Absolutely. You mean the big ugly bill? Absolutely. It's the first thing that I hear on a daily basis. People's health care has been pulled out from underneath them with no alternative for them, so they are uninsured. And it's thousands of people in this district, let alone this country. It's a bad bill. It needs to be repealed. It's also SNAP was a part of that. Medicaid coming in 2027. There are all kinds of threats to the people of this country, to the working class in this country. And my campaign is all about uplifting the middle class, focusing on what we can do, not just to talk about accountabilities and affordability, but to absolutely demonstrate what we can do literally. And I think it starts with repealing this bill. I do.
You mentioned a moment ago, CEOs live here, live in CD1.
Yeah.
This is one of the wealthiest districts in the state.
It is.
Repealing tax cuts might not be popular in a general election.
Look, I've said it before, the people of this district are not in it just to try to get rich. They want a comfortable life. They want to know that government is not taking care of people, but it's doing what it can do to uplift the economy, empower people. These rich people, as people like to say, they have employees. They know what it means. I've sat down with Republicans who have 100,000 plus employees talking about DEI where they haven't been comfortable with it. And I've said, look, the focus is not on you. It's on the people that work for you. What's going to make them happy? What's fair and equitable? That's the kind of stuff we're fighting for.
And the issue of Donald Trump. Pollsters tell me people really don't care about Trump. They care more about the kind of issues you've been talking about, affordability and others. You support impeaching Donald Trump?
I do. I do. I think you have to hold power to account. I mean, you know, I say all the time that absolutely I want to impeach this president. He has violated the Constitution, and there are things that we can absolutely take him to task at. But the reality is I'm also pointing the finger at Democratic leaders. They haven't taken enough action. Look at what's going on with ICE. I mean, yes, we don't have the majority, but what's happening with ICE in this country right now has absolutely demonstrated that the politics in Washington, are upside down. It is an atrocity. I mean, these are violations every single day. Look at what just happened in Houston, a third murder. This is not okay. And it's not just that there's a murder. There is no process, let alone due process of law right after that. It's unacceptable, and we have to fight against it.
Got to end it there. Rick McCartney, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bram.
Best of luck.
Appreciate it.